open? Okay, hang on.
It's cold out here. We ready? Okay, that's hot. That's a hot tamale.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Nice,
Ah,
huh?
okay.
She's a nice, you know?
Don't look at my.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at my body. All right. You know, what I want to talk about today is a kind of a moral, ethical conundrum. You know what I want to talk about? What I want to, what precipitated this discussion was a TV show that we saw last night. I would love to be able to say, I know I haven't seen that. I don't watch TV, but
Oh, well.
we watch TV.
Sometimes.
So, some TV.
Not a ton, but
Yeah.
in the evening
Thankfully.
sometimes, just to wind down.
So, let me first pose a question. Okay, the question is, here's your moral conundrum. If someone stole something and, let's say, liquidated that something, i.e. they got cash for it, and they took that cash and then bought something for somebody else, and then they were convicted of stealing in the first place, would that gift that was bought for someone else be part of the recompense to the victim who was stolen from initially? There's the moral dilemma, right?
Yeah.
So let me just say what we saw was a show. What was it called? Playboy
Murders.
Playboy Murders.
Yeah. It's entertaining.
And this one wasn't it ended up being a murder. There was a murder involved. But what was interesting to me was the theft. And
it was like a Ponzi scheme. This guy had a Ponzi scheme going and was making millions of dollars, billions maybe, and then spending it on this Playboy bunny.
Well, yeah, and you didn't know in the beginning that he had a Ponzi scheme, and everybody thought that he was a rich investor.
Right.
And just killing it. I mean, he was...
Like, she had no idea, probably.
Right. And he wouldn't... That's not something he was proud of. I'm sure that he was scamming people. He was proud that he was making bank. But I'm sure, like you said, he didn't tell her.
And maybe he didn't really know he was scamming.
So anyway, the FBI, the cops, everybody got involved, and the whole story centered around the fact that she had these ill-gotten goods.
Jewels, right? And cars and houses.
And then we started talking about that, and I said, when they started saying, well, we're gonna give it back to the victims. We're gonna take that jewelry that he gave. So he gave her a necklace that was a replica of the necklace in Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
And it was worth $250,000, and all kinds of tennis bracelets and rings and pendants and things that equated to,
and cars,
over $1 million easily. Yeah, or millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And the authorities wanted that money back because he was operating a Ponzi scheme, and they wanted to liquidate that money
because a lot of people had lost their life savings
and give it to those victims, right?
Right.
And my thing was this: okay, that guy stole money, true, right? And he then bought things, and then he gifted things to this girl. Well, she was in a relationship that I would call, what do you call it?
Transactional.
Transactional, right? So she had to do certain things for this guy, sexual things, right? Because he was a wormy, I don't want to be too judgmental, but by all accounts, he was a creepy little guy.
She wouldn't have been with him if he didn't.
She wouldn't have been with him,
There's
right?
no way.
She was a beautiful girl.
There's no way.
And, but you know, good for him if he were doing it the right way. But he wasn't. He was ripping people off. But
so the people that got into this Ponzi scheme with him, did they know that it was a Ponzi scheme?
No, I doubt it.
I mean, what would you
like all Ponzi schemes? He presented a good rate of return on investment, and you just put your money in one of my accounts, and I'll invest it, and I'll give you a return. And so that's what Ponzi schemes were. They just were guys that are supposedly gifted strategist investors, and they're making money out of your money.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then Jennifer and I started discussing it, and she said, well, yeah, she should have to give it back. And I said, no, I don't think she should have to give it back because she
earned it.
She worked for it.
She didn't know.
She didn't know.
But what I was thinking was she was kind of in that lifestyle, like the kind of, I mean, I guess when you're in it, you don't know it, but it's kind of like a darker side of life.
Right.
You know, you are.
But that's judgmental.
Subject to.
Let's try not to be judgmental. Let's just focus on the facts. She earned the money from him. Whether he stole it or not is.
Well, he didn't say he was going to pay her for whatever she was doing. He gave her these gifts.
I guess we could.
So
I guess
I don't
we could
know that she earned it.
I guess so. What is right and what is wrong? I guess for me, morally, I could cut to the chase and just apply it to myself. Just model it in my own life. If someone stole, and it doesn't matter how big or small, it's right is right, wrong is wrong, right? Someone stole some money from me. Say I had a safe and I had some money in it, and they came and stole it from me, and then they went out and had sex with a prostitute and paid her with that money. Right? Mm-hmm. Is she then liable to give me my money back, or is that her money because she performed a service?
It's a different thing. You can't
no,
really
it's not.
track that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. This guy has no money. All of a sudden, he's got a bunch of money and he's paying hookers. He stole that money for.
Yeah, but you can't track. So the money that he spent at the grocery store, do you get that back?
So it's like reparations, right?
Yeah.
Another ridiculous thing. I just don't. So what I'm saying is, okay, if someone came and stole my car out of my driveway.
Wait, now I'm arguing the opposite side that I was arguing before.
It's interesting, isn't it? Someone comes and steals my car out of the driveway. They take it and they sell it to somebody for $500. Okay, the police go there and say, we had a report that this was a stolen vehicle. The guy says, no, I don't know anything about that, but it's mine because I bought it. Well, then and there, anybody would conclude, well, you're a freaking idiot because you bought something that's specific.
Well, you wouldn't have the.
You need the registration. It has a VIN number. All that's traceable. You specifically received a stolen piece of property, right?
And you would kind of know,
right,
that things were not up and up.
Now, say that guy before the cops got to him, he resold that car and took that money and again paid for a hooker. So that guy would be liable, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but in my opinion, that guy would be liable for that car, but that prostitute wouldn't be liable for that money that he gave her for rendered services. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
because that's general. It becomes very general, and it's.
So basically, what you're saying is that this Playboy bunny was his prostitute, and he was paying her with stolen money.
Most definitely, he wasn't paying her with money. He was.
Because they didn't have a deal. They didn't have a deal where she got paid a certain amount every.
Yeah, call it cash.
Whatever.
I mean, say if he had just given her cash, say that they decided to be completely honest, and he said, "Okay, you're giving me oral sex tonight. We'll call that $1,000," and he gives her $1,000.
Wow.
She gives him the service. He gives her the $1,000. It doesn't matter where that money came from. That's money. She earned the money. That's the important thing. He's liable for the theft of the money, but she is not, unless she stole the money with him, which she clearly did not, right?
Let's just say she cleans his house
and his pipe
and sews his shirts up, or his socks. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So
she's his domestic goddess.
Yeah. Either way, she's rendered a service and she's received financial compensation for that. That's just like the reparations thing. Like somebody's great-great-great-great-grandfather owned somebody else's great-great-great-great-grandfather. How does that translate to you and I, the great-great-great-grandchildren, and other people who were great-great-great-great-grandchildren of the slaves? It doesn't. Like, first of all, I may have come over from Finland 50 years ago. Or like your friend Anders came from Norway, our friend. And he didn't have any part in slavery, and nor did his great-great-grandparents. And that's all ridiculous. And who pays who what? So it's just a futile exercise. Or an exercise in futility.
Where did we get with all this?
Well, I think where we got is I decided firmly that if you steal something from me, you're liable for that theft. If you liquidate it and pay somebody else for a roof or a whatever, that person that has been paid for that service gets to keep that money. If I don't care. I mean, I'm saying if it was my money, I would feel the same way. I would say it would be nice of you if you would give me that money back that person stole from me.
But then how do they get their money back?
Exactly.
For their time.
Exactly. Ultimately, you have to say to person A, hey, you stole this money from this person and you paid a bunch of people for different services. Now you're going to have to work the rest of your life to pay for that money to give back to the original people it was stolen from. You're liable to pay them back. Right? Yeah. Okay, for example, I'll give you a better example. People like to attack people. Like, I just think they want to attack her because they think, well, you're in that low life, you're basically a hooker, or you're a strip for money. That's not fair. So what if this guy stole all this money, right? And then he paid his power bill with the money he stole from investors.
Yeah.
Is the power company going to cough up the money for that mansion, for powering that mansion for 5 years while he was stealing money?
I don't know.
Nobody's judging the power company. Nobody's saying, you're in a shady business, so therefore you should have to pay that money back. No, they're saying you provided the power. It was a legal exchange. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But also, I don't know enough about the Ponzi things, but it seems like you would know that there's something off about this investment that you're making. Like, it's too good to be true, maybe. I don't know.
Exactly.
So I don't think
you're saying there's not culpability,
but there's one person responsible.
There's responsibility for a lot of different entities there.
Yeah.
But I like to take things like that and break them down to the basics and kind of, as I call it, model them out. So basically, if you stole something from me, then you sold it and got money, or if you stole money from me and then you paid somebody for services, it doesn't matter whether you paid them with this money or that money or money you legally earned. Yeah. Those people were paid for their services. That's separate and apart from whatever shady crap you did. Just like the slavery thing. I don't know anybody, they say, well, maybe your great-great-great-great-grandfather owned slaves. I don't know that. I don't know that it is a fact. I don't know that it isn't a fact. I know that my people came over during the potato famine, whenever that was. And you know what I mean? It's just, you can't hold on to that lineage. You just have to say,
there's no way to really, in the end, know.
So what do you think? You let us know in the comments below. I think that, I've said it. So what do you think?
I just need more information.
No, you don't.
And
Well, what? Okay, so
well, it's just like you said, the guy's paying for so much different stuff. Why does it have to go back on her?
Yeah.
And her things?
Yeah.
Well, because he spent millions of dollars on trinkets.
Well, again,
and you can track that stuff.
Again, they're just looking at her because she's an obvious figure. This guy went to grocery stores and bought food. He went to restaurants and bought food.
Exactly.
He paid his
stuff.
Power bill.
Yep.
None of those entities are being held responsible. But the sexy playmate who gave him oral sex, that dirty whore, she needs to pay.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I don't think
it's right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right.
I agree.
I don't think it should be predicated on the color of your skin, your sex, what kind of business you're in. I think right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't think we should have different accountability for people on different socioeconomical levels. Socioeconomic. How do you say that?
Economical?
So, anyway, that's the story.
That's
so it was interesting.
It was sticking to it.
The theme was Playboy models.
Yeah.
One way to summarize this is to say, look, those people, you said it earlier, they invested in an investment and they should have found out it was a Ponzi scheme. Maybe not. But
yeah, usually people will do some research before they put a bunch of money, especially like your whole life savings.
And you've said a lot right there. You said it right there because they are in the investment game. That carries with it certain risks. Mm-hmm. This young woman did not choose that game because maybe she thought, I don't want to get in the investment business. I don't want to start giving some guy some money to invest for me because I don't know how to judge and gauge what's a good investment. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start rendering services for money so I know what the service is and I know how much it pays. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much it is and how much...
I don't think it was like that.
Well, it was a transactional relationship. If you looked at the girl and you looked at the guy and looked at each of their bank accounts, you know it's a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
So, in fairness, she wasn't in the investment game. That's not how she was making her money. She was providing the service and getting paid. I know we're talking in circles, but sometimes you have to hammer these things out in such a fashion. So, any final analysis on your side?
I would like to know what ended up happening. I don't know. I don't feel like anything is like cut and dried so that you can say either way. There's always going to be somebody saying something opposite from what you're saying.
Well, I think it's pretty cut and dried, and I think each situation is different. Like I said, if you steal some physical thing from me and that physical thing is still there, right? And I own it. Like if you stole the family heirloom and I could prove that I own it, look, it's in all my photographs from my childhood. That's my family heirloom. The person that paid for it needs to give it back because they didn't do enough research. They didn't buy it from the right person. That's a misfortune for that person. I feel bad for that person, right? But if it's a car, that's a different thing. You're an idiot if you buy a car for $500 and don't ask for the paperwork trail.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, if it's somebody comes and pays you for a roof to do labor and put a roof on your house or provide sexual services, anything like that, you've been legitimately paid. It doesn't matter where they got the money. If they were a hitman and they killed somebody for the money, is the dead person going to get some money back from you, the person that was paid for a service? Is this too far gone?
God, I'm so confused now.
Well, you don't need to be because it's pretty simple. If you keep it simple, that's just what it is. If somebody steals something that's a traceable, static thing that's always the same and gives it or sells it to somebody else, it's still your belonging. If somebody steals that traceable thing from you and then sells it to somebody else and has liquidated and has cash in their hand, there's nothing that can, which dollar goes to which thing. You know what I mean?
The person that's doing the stealing needs to pay up.
Exactly. And that's exactly where we're both,
yeah.
That's where I think where we agree. is that the person is culpable, the thief is culpable, not the person that comes along next and provides services to the thief.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Just like if he stored the, say he robbed Fort Knox and sold a bar of gold to pay for a storage facility for all that gold, right? Mm-hmm. He sold the gold. He didn't give the storage facility owner a bar of gold. He gave him money that he got from selling a bar of gold.
Right.
If they can go in that storage facility office and locate a bar of gold, then that goes back to Fort Knox. Yeah. It even has a serial number on it. But if he sold it to Sam down the street and got cash and paid for the storage for his gold,
it's laundered.
It's been cleaned. All right. So, Playboy
and now
Murders.
We're nice and clean.
I don't know why we watched such trash. No, it was fine. It was an entertaining show, and I have to say, I'm so glad you never ended up doing Playboy.
Oh, thanks.
We were dumb. We were young and dumb. And Farm Girl got rejected for Playboy because she wasn't the hoe next door. Oh no, girl, that's Sour Grapes. Girl next door.
Wow.
No, I've known Playboy models and they're nice people. They're people like everybody else.
I've known some too.
I know you have. One of your parents' friends was a Playboy model.
Yeah.
Centerfold. Yeah, we've known quite a few centerfolds. Mm-hmm. And they're just people like everybody else. So.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to find out more about that story and talk more about it. But if you had been a Playboy model, think about it. Now that we've learned a little bit more about that world, you would have been required to go to that mansion and flirt with.
I never thought about.
I was gonna help get you into this clutches of the beast. And then you're expected to do favors for these rich celebs that come to the mansion. And
I didn't think about any.
We didn't think that through, right? So we were happy. We're happy. Okay.
Okay.
That's that, and thank you all for watching. It's just food for thought, interesting to think through, and let us know your conclusions in the comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, everyone. Let's have a happy ending to this story.
Let's do that.